He actually really is struggling, and they tried to play him forward as a defensive forward on Sam Fisher. In the first quarter, Sam Fisher ended up, I think, with 13 disposals, 11 touches, and Maxwell only had 2, so he wasn't able to perform that role. I mean, I feel struggled defensively. Had goals kicked on him when they were going really well, and they tried to manufacture. Had goals kicked on him when they were going really well, and they tried to manufacture a role for. I mean, you say take out the captaincy. Would he get a game without? Would he get a game without? Would he get a game without being the captain? But all about it, he's their 22nd or 23rd man at the moment. Broken thumbs are unbelievably hard to come back from. It's a risk. You play him, in a second final, second week of the final, might be a prelim final, first game back. There is a risk that you're just manufacturing a spot in the ground for him, and that's going to be.
That is crap. Is crap. Is crap.
It's 4 letters, in fact, are the reason. SANFL. In fact, it's not. In fact, it's not. In fact, it's not.
Andrew, I know you always think there are blue skies, sunny horizons in football, but you do have a few problems on your plate, don't you?
Yes, according to what I'm reading. The only team that's won 2 premierships in the last 10 years is Geelong. We've had 9 different premiers. That's about as good as it gets, and every team's played in a preliminary final.
That's a good comeback, Andrew. That's a very good comeback.
Do I expect him to be there next year? Yes, I do. Does he have a contract with the Collingwood Football Club for the next 3 years? Yes, he does.
Eddie McGuire, they're using words like fluid and expecting him to be there. It's the first time he's using words like that, which don't have an absolute definitive end point on Mick Malthouse being there. So he's changed his tune on that. Yeah. Up until that point, it had always been Mick will be there, the contract will be honoured.
It is an injury that you cannot put a set number of weeks on. But having said that, if you'd done your research like a good journo, you would know that he hasn't had any setbacks along the way whatsoever. He is back running, and it is going well.
I asked you the question. His future is becoming more and more clouded.
And
I asked you, will he play this year?
More cloudy
or less or no?
That's not his future. His future's not one bloody year. Then? It is not one bloody year. This is exactly what Channel 10 do. This is sensationalism. This is sensationalism. This is sensationalism. You're talking shit is what you're doing right now.
Don't swear on air.
I'm telling you, you're talking shit.
Don't swear on air. You're better than that.
No, you shut up and listen instead of talking shit.
Don't speak to me like that.
Well, then I won't talk to you.
Get out of the box.
Will do.
I will not work with someone like that. Get out of the box right now. Go on, nick off. Just throwing a whole tray of food on me.
A whole tray.
Nick off. I'm not working with those.
Shut up.
Get out.
Shut up. So, Steve-O.
Get out. That is unacceptable behaviour.
And the greatest concern was probably that people in the football industry who are not allowed to bet still think they either can or can get away with it. I think that that has been underlined, and that's why we accept without reservation the sanctions that were imposed on our players and club yesterday, because the integrity of the game is far more important than any team or anything else that's going around or any player. So we have no issues whatsoever.
If you're a betting man, Ed, what odds would you say that Mick Malthouse would be staying at Collingwood next year? Okay, so for the record, Buckley coach, Malthouse definitely at Collingwood next year. If he's not at Collingwood, he's at nowhere.
Yeah, yes, that's right. Yeah, Mick said that the other night.
All right.
In the 32 minutes of interview, somewhere in there he did say that.
Well, it was on the footy show, so it must have been right.
That's right, mate.
That is crap. Is crap. Is crap.
You don't believe that you believe that every time those teams played in the period 2004 to 2010, every club was trying to do their best to win the game.
Yes, and I think they also did everything they could to develop their players and put players into surgery early so they could get them ready for next year, and that might have compromised the way that they won a game.
What were the 5
words he said?
Interesting. He just kept repeating it and sort of saying,
that must mean it's tanking, is it?
I just can't understand why you're closed-minded about this.
Do I think that any player goes out to lose a game?
No, not the players. It's never been directed at the players.
Who's it directed to?
It's directed at the coaching staff.
You're calling them cheats?
I'm telling you.
No, you're calling them cheats?
No, I'm saying that they manipulated events with their team.
So you're calling them cheats?
Well, for the purposes of the exercise, yes.
Oh, well, he's having a good win today, Andrew.
He always does.
Is he in the best 22? I mean, we've seen people like Mike Brearley captain test sides because they're fantastic captains, not necessarily brilliant players. Does he fill that sort of mould?
In terms of being a brilliant captain, absolutely. You know, he's a premiership captain and he leads really, really well. In terms of, you know, Nick being in our best 22, well, those comments they're always made by people outside of it. Always made by people outside of it. Always made by people outside of the club, and they don't understand the roles that we give. But
James Brayshaw said that his platform was they weren't going to travel. He dug the tape out during the week. Now, this is what James said on the night he was elected as president of the Kangaroos.
I think we've got a situation where we would be foolish if we didn't look at other markets to play. But if we find one and it pays us a quid, I'm not talking about playing 8 games there, but we would have to look at playing, you know, interstate if it can be done.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm missing something, but that's made a mockery of your argument for the last couple of weeks. But that's made a mockery of your. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm missing something, but that's made a mockery of your argument for the last couple of weeks.
No,
that has absolutely made a mockery of what you've been saying about
Craig, James said a lot of things on that night.
He said that very instance. He used Tasmania as the example of something they might do.
I understand that. And when I was writing about North Melbourne a couple of weeks ago, I said the club. I didn't use James Brayshaw's name, and I was referring to an article which I spoke to the CEO of the club.
There's no direct quote from Eugenia Rocker in that story you wrote in 2008.
Hutchy.
You've said that for the last 3 years, James Brayshaw has walked away from a promise.
Craig.
And that is the speech from the night itself when he flagged Tasmania could be an option.
No, I'm not Craig. I wish the footage, I wish North Melbourne.
For 2 weeks,
and
you've been saying James walked away from
all
a promise.
the luck
and
in
he
the world.
And we've just shown it.
Why did they say they were not going to be the travelling kangaroo?
We've got to move on. We're running out of time, buddy.
No, this can be removed at any stage. So yeah, I'm just nothing too serious there, and getting some laser therapy and doing all sorts of stuff just to try and do whatever I can to try and help.
I don't want to be negative. I spoke to Matthew Lloyd about this. He had exactly the same injury, and he said he missed 6 weeks. And he said he missed 6 weeks. And he said he missed 6 weeks.
Well, that's a positive.
I said I didn't want to be too negative.
Which means at least you're back to the NAB Cup next year, which is great next.
Okay, one last one from me. Yeah. The coaching situation. There's 145 coaches in the system.
87 ex-players in that group.
Taking $25 million. And when I learned that this week, I was really surprised at that. I mean,
why?
Well, it's just a big number, isn't it? I mean,
what is it?
So you think that they're all justified?
Well, hold on, Mike. The AFL next year will turn over $400 million. The clubs collectively will turn over $500 million. Out of a $900 million revenue, is it an unreasonable thing for coaches who are very influential, who work their tails off, as I've seen? Is it unreasonable for them to get $25 million out of $900? I actually think it's 0.25%. Is that what it is? Or it's 2.5%?
I'm not asking him any more questions. Have you got a towel here that I can throw in?
We've beaten Mike 3 sets to 2 today. Had a convincing.
Disappointed in that.
Dale Thomas, you've spoken about Damo with us. Where's that at?
Yeah, Jeff Walsh told us a couple of weeks ago, JB, that was when, not if, he stays. But the when is actually stretching out. It actually could go beyond the grand final should Collingwood make it. It's still when, but the dollars are pretty much far apart from what he wants. and what Collingwood's offering. And obviously they've had to deal with Pendlebury and Swan to this point. And yeah, the when, it's still when, but it's going to be potentially in the finals or beyond the.
I want to ask how you've handled the media speculation and scrutiny, because you've been asked at every occasion about what your future holds. Has that been difficult?
I don't think it's been difficult. It's just been pretty repetitive. Obviously, they want to ask a question and hopefully get an answer, and the answer all along was that hopefully I would stay. And I think the media get a little bit excited when they hear that your manager's meeting with the club and they expect an outcome straight away, but as I say, it wasn't a decision made on numbers purely. The decision not only is it made about the money side of things, but also that hopefully the success and the premierships are what you come to football clubs
for. Push for time, so just make it quick. Say sorry to Freemantle.
We're due to go to a break, aren't we?
Say sorry to Freemantle.
Say I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong.
To
Mark Harvey and to Fremantle, wrong.
That is crap.
Do you reckon he'll be having a heap of beers in Blacktown next year, Stevo? I think so. I think he's got a nice balcony overlooking Breakfast Point there, where they've got their little enclave. I think he'll definitely be there. That was a sign.
He was a bit stiff, Stevo, was he?
Just having a drink at just a nondescript game of footy at Amy Stadium.
Looking for a bit of colour in the crowd and stumbled across him, but it's like having a sickie at the cricket in the summer and getting caught on camera. You shouldn't do it. I think it's a sign that he's tuned out. He's not getting along with Neil Craig, and he's already on his way to GWS. And he's already on his way to GWS. And he's already on his way to GWS.
Will anyone take the punt on Fev? Pardon the pretty poor pun there.
It was poor. It was really poor.
Malthouse declaration on the front page of the Herald Sun on Friday morning that he will not be at Collingwood next year.
Yes, Stuart, that's my view. Hopefully it's considered and informed. I don't think there's any chance of Mick being at Collingwood in any capacity next year.
No, but are you saying now that Collingwood perhaps don't want Mick to be there next year?
No.
Or are you saying it's purely Mick's decision not to be there?
I don't think Bucks would want Mick there. I think Bucks wants to go in with a blank canvas and say, this is now my team. He knows he's on a hiding to nothing next year.
Yeah.
And that's even worse if he's got Mick at his shoulder. I don't think they want to be working alongside each other.
Yeah, so you're saying Bucks doesn't want Mick, Collingwood doesn't want Mick, so that's a significant change.
No, I didn't say Collingwood didn't want Mick, but Collingwood know there's a deal in place. Yep. Do you think Mick will be at Collingwood in any capacity next year?
The only way I see him at Collingwood is if Nathan Buckley, as Lee Matthews has suggested, if they win 2 premierships, says, this isn't for me, I'm going to move on. Mick, you go back and coach.
Well, excuse the pun, Jared, but there's Buckley's hope of that.
That is crap. Is crap. Is crap.
Into the media jargon, I'm pretty sure Mike Sheahan held you down and said that won't happen early in the year.
Well, Mike Sheahan did say there's a whole lot of hot air, that next year. So Mick has written that at the start of the year, and then he also wrote, as we know, yesterday saying that he won't be there.
So he's having $1 each way. He's having $1 each way. He's having $1 each way. So you've worked with Mike a lot. The front page, it's just about, 99% right? 99% right? 99% right? If you go to the editor and say, I've got a front page here.
You don't want to get a front page wrong. You don't want to get any story wrong. You don't want to get a front page wrong. You don't want to get a front page wrong. You don't want to get a front page wrong.
Take him on moist the butt of these, Jeff. Take him on moist the butt of these, Jeff. Take him on moist the butt of these.
Welcome to you. How is Chris Tarrant, I guess, is the main one out of last night?
Yeah, thanks, Brian. He reported for injury clinic this morning, and look, our doctors and himself are confident that it's a slight ankle sprain, but nothing serious, or certainly not serious enough to keep him out of next week's game. So that's one pleasing aspect out of the wash-up this morning.
Jeff, just a couple of other injuries out of last night. Benny Johnson came on and off, went down to the rooms a couple of times with his leg problem. How's he pulled up, and is that a real issue? And also Travis Cloak with that knock on the knee later on in the game. How are they this morning?
Yeah, Travis just looked like a bit of bruising to the inside of his knee from a direct trauma. So yeah, he's pulled up fine. And Benny, the same sort of thing, a direct trauma rather than a wrench or a strain. So they're pretty sore last night in terms of trying to run out the game, particularly Ben. But the good thing is, in the injury clinic this morning, everyone who had a bit of a niggle last night has pulled up pretty well and reported to the extent that they'll be available to play next week.
That is crap. Is crap. Is crap.
You would have read something like that, but it's totally untrue. Don't read everything you read in the paper. Don't believe everything you read in the paper. Don't believe everything you read in the paper. Don't believe everything you read in the paper.